listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski and Sydney Hall, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the shit your daddy never knew. And as always, my co-host, Sydney Hall.
Sydney Hall right here, doing it right here on Modern Male Radio. What's up, people out in the land? And today we have a very good friend of mine, Light Watkins. Say what's up, Light Watkins.
Hello, everyone. Light Watkins.
And Light Watkins is a meditation guru and the author of a unbelievable book that I haven't read yet, but I know it's unbelievable, and I'm going to read it.
It looks unbelievable.
It looks unbelievable. It's an unbelievably looking book.
We got to put this out there. So
it's called The Inner Gym, first of all.
I read a little bit about your book, and I want our listeners to understand fully who they're in the presence of witnessing. Right. You're one of the top guys, and there's actually a standard for meditation, correct? Like you're not just a guy who's out there being like, oh yeah, I meditate, I teach people, let's go out there and feel good in Santa Monica. You're actually professionally trained. You've been doing this for 20 years. Like, you're considered one of the best in the world. Yes.
Yeah, I would say that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get my meditation teaching license out of a Cracker Jack box last weekend.
He usually is very more humble than this. He says, "Well, I'm part of the conversation."
So
I'm part of the conversation.
How does it work? How do you get those certifications? How would you compare, what you did to somebody else who was at a different level?
That's a really good question, because nowadays, meditation is a big thing, and you have a lot of people who are out there calling themselves meditation teachers, and it's not to say they can't do it. It's just that you become more expert the more you do it, and just by virtue of the fact that I've been doing it for so long, and I apprenticed with someone who is a master, who's a proper master. So I went to India, did that whole thing,
okay,
and spent a concentrated amount of time, like 3-4 months, doing the whole Karate Kid, wax on, wax off,
oh, wow,
meditating all day long. Not really knowing why you're doing this stuff, and then you come to the other side of it, and you start giving people instruction. You see them having an experience, and that's your validation right there. People are actually having a tangible experience right in front of you, and it's the same one that you had, and it's like, okay, well, I can do this. This is great.
So take us back a little bit before we get into the meat of meditation. Where'd you start? I know you were a yoga instructor for a while.
Yeah, I first dabbled in meditation when I was living in New York City. I was modeling in New York back in the day.
Okay.
I think you were modeling too, right?
Yeah, I was modeling too, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was in New York modeling, and I was working out at Equinox Gym on the Upper West Side. And I remember I was doing shoulder presses one night, and I saw these girls gathering outside of the group fitness room. And, there's these beautiful...
that's why he got into yoga.
Hey, I have to be completely honest.
Right.
Something inside of me, I don't know if it's hormones or
I took a yoga class in college because of the girls that were in the class.
Well, the only time I've been to yoga was because of a girl.
Because of the girls, right? Yeah, let's keep it real.
Well, a girl brought me. I'm like, I remember.
I auditioned for the ballet team once just because I really liked this girl who was on there, and I actually had to
Funny enough, how I went out for the cheerleading squad male because of that reason. I lied to you not. Because of that same reason. I was like, yo, the cheerleaders were. I could lift them up. I can.
Whatever.
And I was a gymnast. Yeah. I was a gymnast, so I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. So I landed in my first yoga class because of that, because I was following the girls, and then kept doing it, and
obviously fell in love with it.
Yeah, it's funny how chasing women can sometimes lead us to our greatest lessons. A lot of men actually develop certain things like confidence, or they've. It's funny how if there's something that is set out there, and it's something that you want, it's dragged along. You'll really become
everything we want in life revolves around getting a woman.
You could make the argument that everything.
Like everything, we work hard because we want the women. We want to look good because we want the women. That's kind of why
men don't like fast cars. Men drive fast cars because women like fast cars.
Women like fast cars.
Yeah, exactly, and it's in our DNA. It's not even something we
have
to
biology,
choose.
Yes.
It's just how we are. So this is back in '98, and then I moved to LA in 2003, and that's where I met my guru. About 3 months after I moved to LA, a friend of mine told me, "You got to meet this meditation teacher." And I was like, I tried meditation in New York, and it's not really for me, but I'll go along because you are so into this, and I want to do you a favor.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes we do that for friends. We're like, all right, I'll do it for you. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing, but you're a good friend, and I'll do it for you.
Exactly.
And obviously, this led you on.
And I showed up, and literally within 10
path.
minutes, I knew that's what I want to do for a living.
Wow.
It was the craziest thing. Like, if you asked me what I was going to do with my life 10 minutes before I walked into that room, I probably would have said something about, I don't know, be an architect or a writer or maybe a yoga teacher.
Right.
But I knew it was so clear when I saw my teacher. And there was no path to becoming a meditation teacher at that time. I just wanted to be around the guy as much as possible. And I started shadowing him around when he was teaching other people to meditate for like 3 years. And I studied Vedic history with him. And then he was the one that invited me to
What is
India.
Vedic?
Well, it's ancient
ancient Indian
history
knowledge. It's a body of knowledge. Actually,
it's where they got Darth Vader from.
Yes,
it's where a lot of the themes in Star Wars.
That's what I heard.
Come from the Vedic scriptures.
It's funny you say that because that's in the first chapter of the book. I use Star Wars as a metaphor for Vedic knowledge. The Force.
The idea
of the Force
dark side,
being this all-encompassing energy that permeates through all of us. They got that from the Vedas. The Vedas. The premise of the Vedas is that there's only one thing, and everything else is connected from that one thing. And so meditation comes from the Vedas. People don't realize astrology comes from the Vedas.
Yep.
Feng Shui comes from the Vedas.
Well, that was
all
the first
yogic philosophy.
Religion is the birth of religion is from the Vedas.
Yeah, all religions have roots in the Vedas.
In the Vedas,
all the Eastern philosophy, Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle and all these guys, what they're talking about, the power of now, and
the Vedas talk about if you go into
connected
deep
to source and the universal.
It's all from those guys.
And if you go into deep enough into the Vedic,
what I always thought was funny.
They talk about the worlds beyond this world and where they
were the Jedi Knights.
They were the Jedi Knights
of 5,000 years ago.
Exactly,
the Vedic
and how they landed
and
here. So it's actually interesting.
No, you will not meditate over there. It's funny because I always notice the similarities between the word energy and inner chi. They got the ancient, find your inner chi, and then you've got the whole energy thing, and it's like, wow, they're like the same word. Like I don't know if anybody ever put that together, but
probably
a lot
some
of root
people.
words that we use now come from
those.
I
Sanskrit.
wonder, though.
Sanskrit is the language of the Vedic.
I looked it up, and I don't think they are related, but it's really interesting, and we're coming to.
Sanskrit is the first written language in this planet, so everything comes from.
Look at you, man! I'm impressed. I've been sleeping on this guy for 20 years. Like, how did you know that?
Sydney will do that too. He'll do that. You'll be sitting there and you'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden he'll be like, "Bam,
boom, boom."
Let me drop some motherfucking knowledge on you right now.
Are you a meditation teacher?
Not yet. I'm living that through you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. So it's crazy because we're coming to this place now where, like, I mean, you've said it, but every single religion, every kind of philosophy, we're coming to the understanding that at the core they're all the same.
Yeah.
And everything is the same. Kind of stripped away, they were all built on the same core fundamental principles. And I've always found a fascination with that because I think that prayer is fascinating. The idea that somebody could put something out to the universe, not knowing what it was, and be like, okay, well, there's a conscious God that I'm going to pray to. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Well,
and sometimes it works in all religions. So sometimes
it depends on what you mean by working.
Well, sometimes you get what you want the way you want it, and sometimes you don't.
It depends on what you put out there and how you put it out there to what you get back. You may not even know how you're putting it out there. So it always works. It always works. You just have to be conscious.
Fair enough.
You have to be conscious of what you put out there in terms of what comes with it.
It works in the typical sense that if I ask God, and I'm like, hey, dear Lord, I want this, but you don't understand what you're really feeling about that thing. Yeah, you are getting what you want. You're getting what you put out there. You don't realize that, don't understand it. And it's always fascinated me that the idea that we do have the power to do that. And it's always fascinated me that when a Muslim prays and he does it in a certain way and he gets a desired result, so does a Christian. And so does a Buddhist, and so does every single religion known to man works a little bit, or a lot of it. And it's always been insanely fascinating.
Well, speaking of foundation, I guess the phase 1, the first book that Light Watkins has written this is your first book, right?
That is the first book, yeah.
It's the Inner Gem, and the first phase is the foundation. So You know,
But
Right
that's
here,
a
folks.
metaphor for working out,
right?
as
Okay.
opposed to
Well,
anything having to do
go
with
into
religion or anything like that.
Yeah. So let's jump into that.
let's jump into the foundation.
Yeah.
What's
So the inner gym, GYM, for those of people who can't see the video, the inner gym is a metaphor for cultivating happiness using working out analogies. Right?
So that's the end result. The desired end result is happiness.
Well, here's the fight I'm picking.
Okay.
There's this idea that's very widespread that happiness is a choice, right?
Okay.
So if you're depressed, if you are anxious, if you're worried, somebody might tell you, and this may be a trusted friend of yours, you just have to choose to be happy right now.
I've even heard that in the guru community. I've even heard
it's,
that
it's
from.
very widespread in the spiritual community, in the
Yeah.
yoga community. You just have to choose to be happy.
So what's the fight?
And the fight is that happiness is actually not a choice. Happiness is like doing a pull-up.
it's
Right?
it's a workout.
No, it's a muscle.
It's a muscle. It was a muscle.
Yeah.
So it's like telling someone who's never worked out before, just choose to do a pull-up, right?
Yeah.
If they've never worked out, it doesn't matter if they even understand how to do a pull-up, which most people do, or if they have a good intention, or if they put a pull-up on their vision board. If they've never actually exercised the muscles that are responsible for pulling themselves up, they're not going to be able to do it.
They're not gonna
Yeah.
work. They're not gonna work.
Yeah. You'd have to condition a habit of actually doing this.
You'd have to
that would be-
condition the muscles, yeah.
Yeah.
And they would everybody would understand that. Okay, well, I can't do one now, but if I worked the proper muscles, then one day I would be able to pull myself up. So I'm saying,
intention to conditioning to then actually making your brain produce more chemicals, dopamine and serotonin. Yeah.
well, yeah, that's for happiness, yeah. So I'm saying happiness like that is, you can choose to be happy, which means that you can choose to put your attention on something that's positive, right? But if you don't have the chemicals that
Yeah.
can
It
support
don't always work.
It doesn't.
Like, I'm
always
gonna be
work.
happy. I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah, you're gritting your teeth,
Yeah.
trying to smile, and
What's
trying
so
to be
hard?
happy, right? And
Yeah.
and that can oftentimes lead to more
depression.
because it's like it's not working. I don't
Because
know
it's an
why.
up and down. It's not working.
Yeah.
And, you
Yeah.
know,
Then you could become self-defeatist.
And according to the World Happiness Report, America is number 17.
17. Yeah.
We
I
rank 17.
Actually, I knew that. Why? I knew that for a reason. I knew it was 17 for a reason.
of self-described
Because my number is 17.
unhappy
history
people.
we have.
Yeah. So, and if happiness was a choice, why aren't more people choosing to be happy? Who doesn't want to be happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's when you think about it like that, it's kind of obvious, but our conditioning is so strong that
Well, yeah,
I need to
our
choose
conditioning,
it.
our socialization, and, I'm saying under this construct that we're in,
Yeah.
it's a constant beatdown.
Yeah, if-
we can't have it.
Or we feel like if it's not a choice, it's going to come as soon as I make my first million, as soon as I meet the right
the
girl.
construct says these things make you happy, so
Yeah.
you wait for those things
Yeah.
to become happy.
Yeah, and then it's easy to pick that apart too. If making more money makes you happy, then that means that Oprah Winfrey and Mark Zuckerberg and all these guys would be the happiest people on the planet.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that directly correlated, wow, they'd be in bliss.
Yeah. Or kids make you happy. As soon as I have kids, okay. Well, were your parents the happiest people you ever met in your life? Probably not.
Probably not.
No.
Right. So it's people have achieved all kinds of things, and it doesn't equate to happiness. So where is the happiness? And so what the book is about is there are these muscles inside that are responsible for your well-being, and that can produce high amounts of happy chemistry, the dopamine, the serotonin, the norepinephrine, the anandamine, and all those chemicals. And if you practice these little inner exercises, I call them, then you'll create the happiness from the inside out. And the true test of whether or not you are actually happy is when you don't have a girlfriend.
When you don't have
How
these
do you
things,
feel?
right? How do you feel?
Yeah. When you're at rock
When you
bottom.
don't have
In
all
your
this
valley.
money,
how do you feel? Exactly.
When you are in traffic, how do you feel? Right? It's
Traffic.
easy to be.
That's the biggest. Yeah. No.
It's
like,
easy
you
to
test
feel happy
anybody's
when you got
ideology.
everything going your way and all that. But how do you feel when you don't have anything?
And I always say, I'm like, I say that about relationships. I say that about a lot of things, And people get on me about being me because I do that. When I meet somebody, and Derry probably tell you this, I take people to the bottom. Like, I want to know your ugly side. I want to know that side of you that is the terrible side, and I'm going to embrace that about you. So
Yeah.
there's only one way to go is up. I never have friends for a reason, friends for a season, as the old cliches go. I have friends for life. I have friends from when that time I've had you as a friend, because I've I've managed to bring us to that point of, we have nothing, and we make everything out of that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
And I tend to do it, and people tend to razz me about it because, Sid, you're so confrontational, you're so this. No, I'm just trying to get to the root of us and you and me, and as we explore this relationship. And a lot of people don't do that because you hear relationships, friendships ending after, I don't mess with that person anymore. I don't deal with that.
People take stuff personally.
Personally, yeah.
And one of the attributes of being happy inside is you don't take things personally.
No.
Much.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's being grounded. Suddenly you're in yourself and you're grounded, and everything around you, it's like, okay.
Well, the universe works off logic.
Feeling connected.
Yeah.
Connected. We are, and I go into this with a lot of people. I'm like, we are just a mere microcosm of the whole universe. So we encompass everything that the universe is upon.
We're
the universe.
waves on top of the ocean.
Exactly.
Everything else is a wave.
So if you look up there, a lot of people, I understand the universe, but human beings, like, no, if you understand the universe, you truly understand the universe, and you try to, that gives you a greater understanding of yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So meditation is the first inner exercise.
Right.
And the whole idea with meditation is like using the universe as an ocean metaphor. If we're the waves on top of the ocean, meditation is the methodology of de-exciting that wave so that you have a direct experience with the depth of the ocean, right? And so once you have that experience, it's no longer just an intellectual concept that you read about in an Eckhart Tolle book. Because everybody understands intellectually, right. Oh, yeah, I should be present right now. Or, oh, yeah, I'm connected to you and you right now. But as soon as you say something crazy, that understanding is the first thing that goes out the window. And you go into defense mode, right? Unless you've had enough sensual experiences with oneness, with that connection.
If you exercise the muscle.
Yeah.
Because when you exercise a muscle, it tends to just start, you know what I'm saying?
It just becomes automatic.
It becomes automatic.
Yeah, and that's how you want happiness to be. You don't want to have to rely on happiness.
Yeah, because like if you go to the gym and try to work, you're like, okay, I got to do squats and do, you know what I'm saying? You think about it, you overthink about it, and you actually get hurt because of those reasons.
Yeah.
You actually hurt yourself in the gym exercising because of those reasons.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because, what is that? What is that part of you? There's like the part of you that thinks, there's a part of you that's conscious of the part of you that's thinking, and then there's you. Do you actually think when you get up out of bed to walk downstairs? Do you actually
No.
You don't I'm like, because it's a muscle you exercise since you were 1 year old.
Exactly.
It's just immediate. It's just what you do. When you pick up your arm to go get a drink, if I picked up this water and just I didn't say, okay, Sydney, now you're going to pick up the water. That'd be like a computer that you type instructions into.
So you're saying is that's connectivity through repetition.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, excellence is not an act; it's a habit.
It's a habit.
To work with.
Excellence is not an act.
That's not mine. That's Aristotle, of course.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I was like, damn. Boom.
It's mine now.
Mind blown. Right. No, it's crazy.
And it was probably someone's before Aristotle.
I love
probably.
that. Right? Will Smith paraphrased that. I think he goes, I'm not exceptionally talented. He was like,
He works hard.
I never considered myself talented. He goes, but I have a sickening work ethic.
Yeah.
And he's got this motivational video online. It's amazing if anybody's ever seen it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like it's the most incredible.
He's like, no one's going to outwork me.
Yeah.
Ever.
I will die on the treadmill.
I will die on the treadmill.
And that's what I've come to understand too. I mean, it's funny because many years ago in my life, I was really, really good talker, really good with people, and I was always talking about what I was going to do with my life, and I was never there. And then this day and age, it's really come to my attention that everything is a process. You build on it a little bit every day, and you get in the habitual conditioning of making and building anything the way you want it to be. It's like suddenly the world is Legos, and you can actually build anything. You can build your mind. You can reprogram it. You can do anything you want to do.
Mm-hmm. So this is so the Inner Gym is a 30-day workout for strengthening happiness. After 30 days.
After 30, well, the whole idea is to just introduce people to this particular structure. None of these exercises are new, right? You got meditation, that's been around for 5,000 years.
Right.
You got gratitude exercises, you have a receiving exercise.
I'm glad this is such a small book because it would be very, very intimidating if it weren't.
Nobody reads anymore, so I didn't want to make a big 500-page War and Peace book on happiness. I just wanted to introduce the concept. I even say in the book, I'm not going to get into long-winded explanations about why people aren't happy. the fact is people aren't happy. So, you know, if you're picking up this book and reading it, you probably already have that understanding.
Right.
And you just want to know, what can I do?
What can I do?
Right? And so this is a book that takes you from what do I do to what's an actionable step that you can do in the next 5 days starting right now. And then you put the book down and you work on those things.
Yeah, because we live in the world of immediacy. Everybody wants something now. You know?
And you want to test it out, right? So go ahead, test it out. Start on this little 5-minute meditation. I'll tell you exactly what to do in those 5 minutes. Nothing intimidating.
I love that it's 5 minutes because that makes it so
Everyone
much more
could do. I'm like,
who doesn't have 5 minutes in their day?
I can do 5 minutes.
If you don't have 5 minutes, you need to meditate for 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's a problem because like you know, a lot of gurus will be like, oh, go through this guided meditation, and it's really frou-free and like it's hard to relate to because like if you're not already interested in that, and you don't want to spend an hour going.
But also, you know, just the concepts people think are so far-fetched because in modern day society, these concepts are, you know, whether they're so historic or so back in the day, you know, people think they're so far from them. You know,
and look at this dude showing up in his suit. Look at all fly.
And we also tend to think that these people are so different. Oh well, they act like this and they float on air over here and they dress like this and they don't do these type things.
But that's what the modern male movement is.
Right.
That's what we're trying to do for you guys, is to bring the best of all of this interesting stuff in here and go, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter what you think you are. You don't have to belong to a genre because you like that kind of clothes or those kind of clothes and that kind of music. You can do whatever you want.
You can meditate in a fly suit with a Chinese collar, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's,
you know, people think that people walk around in robes looking like Jesus Christ that meditate.
And meditation has a bad PR problem right now.
It does.
A lot of people associate it with being a monk.
Right.
You got to become vegetarian.
Maybe you should rename it.
You got to be soft-spoken. You know that. You have to be. You have to have a shaved head, you know, and you have to live in a cave. And what I'm saying here is that, no, you can do it on an airplane. You can do it in a taxi. You can do it on a backseat of a road trip.
Meditating on an airplane. Wow, wouldn't that? I mean, that'd be the greatest thing. That's all the time in the world. But that's all the time in the world.
And people ask me, what's the best kind of meditation? My answer is the meditation that you can do every day, because that's what is important. Consistency. Just like you said,
exercising the muscle.
You have to do it every day in order to cultivate the muscle for it. So even if you're just doing 5 minutes every day, it's better than doing an hour once a week.
That's even in my book when it comes to working out.
Working out, working your outside muscles.
Physical working out.
If you get in there 15 minutes and do it, I'm like, that's way better than binging once a week.
Yeah.
Doing an hour, like getting.
They even said that about drinking. If you drink a couple glasses of liquor every day, that's way better than actually binging and drinking and binge drinking.
Yeah,
I know that. It kind of took us way over there, but you know.
We've both been there. So, I mean, I had so many questions. So,
if you have sex every day,
is there truly a difference between meditations, or it seems like when you turn your brain off, because I've heard of like alpha waves and beta waves and theta and all that stuff. Is there really a difference, or really a level, or is that something that your mind tells itself when you're in a state of calmness?
No, there was a very, very specific, quantifiable, verifiable state of consciousness that your body and mind can experience in meditation.
Okay.
Those kinds of experiences usually come as a result of comprehensive instruction, and people meditating for a little bit longer than 5 minutes. The idea
of a little bit longer. How long are you?
Like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the idea of the inner gym is just to introduce people to these practices.
Right.
You know, so you asked about after the 30 days. Hopefully, you'll still keep practicing these, and then I've got the second phase. Each phase, there are 4 phases total. This is the foundational phase. Mm-hmm. The next phase is the bulking phase, right? So in the gym, in the physical gym, when you're bulking, you know, there's a very specific sequence. You're lifting really heavy, light reps, and you're taking days off.
Heavier weight. You know what I'm saying?
Heavier weight, light reps, taking days off, and that bulks you up. So
rips the muscle.
This is a way to bulk up the happiness muscle really, really fast in the phase 2, and then phase 3 is ripping. It's gonna rip. It's gonna cut away all the fat, right?
Oh, okay. And they're all in this book, or this is?
They're all in that book. So each new phase.
Phase 1
this is the foundation.
Book. Okay.
So each new phase is gonna have a slightly longer meditation program.
Oh, okay.
So by the time you get to phase 4, which is the stabilization phase, you're going to be meditating about 15, 20 minutes. But you will have worked up to it, right? If I just throw you a 20-minute meditation right on day 1, you're probably not going to do it. You may do it for a day or 2, right?
Okay.
But life is going to catch up.
So I'm like, what's the longest people have meditated? Like, what's, you know, And okay, you're a guru. You're the
Days,
daily
I
meditator.
think,
How
right?
long do you meditate?
I only meditate 20 minutes at a time.
20 minutes. I can do 20
Yeah,
minutes.
that's
every
very
day.
doable.
I can do 20 minutes.
I'm liking
every day.
meditation a little bit more now.
When I go to the gym, I try to get that 200. I try to bench 200. I don't start.
Don't do that. You gotta strain your muscle.
I'm gonna rip the
Yeah,
inner
you're gonna
muscles.
Exactly.
I'm gonna rip the
You
inner
gotta-
muscles. Sydney's
You don't want to
actually-
sprain your inner.
Sydney's a little crazy
bones.
now. He tried this 20-minute meditation. And he's never been the same.
Thin edge of the wedge is definitely the way to go with all of these inner exercises. Just do a little bit at a time because I want you to do it every day. I don't want you to skip any days. I don't want you to take any days off because the opposite of that is not taking any days off, which is stress, right?
So there's no
the
days of
thing
rest?
The thing that meditation is actually providing rest for the body. So that's why you're doing it.
Yeah, let's go over some of the. And I just before we close that out, I love the fact that you compared it to fitness because it's very, very easy to understand that way, and it's funny because even in fitness, like in my book, I put a workout program in there. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's hey, here's when you get good enough to where that becomes boring to you, then you don't need the book anymore.
Exactly.
Then you can go online and you'll figure out your own stuff.
And there's no real graduating from physical fitness, right?
No, not at all.
You're always
No.
doing something, even if it's just walking around the block. And the same thing is true with the inner body. There's no graduating from developing your inner
What
muscles.
what are the physical tangible benefits of besides happiness? Because that's kind of a broad term.
Yeah.
Can we dial into that
Specifically, yeah.
specifically? What are the
better sex, better
sex,
relationships.
Absolutely.
so how though? Come on. You know that was on the question form.
So meditation is one of those key habits, right? That makes doing other things a lot easier. And what's been shown now, and there's a lot of studies on meditation now. I don't know if you guys saw in your Facebook or social media wall, Anderson Cooper was just hooked up to brain studying devices for 60 minutes, showing how meditation obviously changes the brain for the better.
Yeah, change the. Yeah,
so just in dealing with brain power, scientists say that we use anywhere from 2 to 10% of our available brain power. But when people are hooked up to EEGs meditating, they've shown that people can actually access almost 100% of your available brain power while the meditation is happening, right?
What?
So what's happening?
So I could be Lucy
You could be exactly
in the meditation
in
world.
the meditation. But then everything that happens inside of the meditation at some point is going to start to
Manifest.
stabilize.
Yeah, stabilize and manifest
Yeah,
out.
because that's how the body is. The
Right.
body is adaptable. The brain is very plastic or malleable. And so it's a numbers game, really. And that's why you want to do it every single day.
Okay, so gurus have accessed 100% of their brain power.
Yeah.
And accessing 100% of your brain, your available brain power, what is that? Like, what is that like? If you can explain that feeling, if you can explain what you are capable of.
All right, so normally it's when you say that someone is only using 10% of their available brain power, it doesn't mean that 90% of the brain is dead, right? It just means that you have a dominant part of your brain, depending on what activity you're doing.
Okay.
So if you're doing a headstand, for instance, in yoga class, the neurons on the top of your brain are going to be dominant, and the rest of the brain is going to be less dominant, right? If you're looking at a photography book, the neurons in your occipital lobe, which is the back of your brain, are going to be dominant.
I know where you're going with this. So you're talking about access.
Yeah,
the ability to access.
Yeah. So what happens is when you meditate, and this is going to be real simple, when you meditate, the dominant part of the brain is kind of like a car with an engine running, and the less dominant parts of the brain are kind of like the cars that can't start, and the interneuronal connections are like the jumper cables. And so that dominant part is going to jumpstart the rest of the brain because it's all connected.
Right.
And you have the whole brain, all 12 billion neurons start firing on and off at the same time in a way that does not happen in the waking state, the dreaming state, or the sleeping state. So that's what causes this fourth state of consciousness to occur. Now, so you have a brainwave signature that's both rested and alert at the same time, right? Which gives the body permission to slip beyond a level of rest that you don't get when you're even sleeping at night. So some meditation styles have been shown to rest the body up to 5 times deeper than sleep, minute for minute. And it starts immediately, right? Now, rest is the kryptonite for stress. When people get stressed, what that means is your body starts to receive hormones and peptides that store up memory of whatever is around you when you're feeling anxious, worried, afraid, sad, bored, maniacal. Yeah. So those chemicals form casings around your cells, right? And so the things that your body needs to stay young and youthful and vibrant
can't get to the cells.
Can't get to the cells because the body is keeping you in fight or flight mode.
Right.
So the meditation chemicals break all that down, right? So your immune system starts to get a boost. Your reproductive system, you get more testosterone. You become more fertile. I've taught people meditation, and they've been unable to have a baby, get pregnant, and 2 weeks after they start meditating, they get knocked up. So I tell meditators, don't have one-night stands because you're going to be more fertile. When you start
no longer
meditating.
shooting blanks.
No.
Right?
Take extra precautions.
These are live rounds now, right?
Hormonal balancing occurs. All the different systems that get compromised when you're running away from bears and tigers start to get refueled the energy they need to perform optimally. And then just as psychologically, you're happier and you're able to have more simultaneity. You're able to do more things at the same time without.
So basically, it would just be an unparalleled level of focus.
Yeah, you're able to focus, concentrate. You're able to make distinctions between things a lot easier, make connections between things.
Do you find that anything in the real world like wars with that? I mean, do you find that it would be kind of an obvious go-to to be like, oh, the internet,
Yeah.
But do you feel like, as somebody who's on a deeper level, who's constantly like, do you feel like that is a definite shock, or when you meditate, does that stuff become less effective at engaging?
Well, the thing is, it happens so gradually, you don't even really notice it until the crap hits the fan.
Right.
And then it's like your reaction to it is completely different from what it would have been a year before you started meditating. And you're able to adapt to these changes a lot easier. So if you think back to the last time you had some degree of suffering, it was probably because you weren't able to adapt to something.
Right.
Something was going down, and it didn't happen in the way you thought it should have happened, or it didn't happen in the time you thought it should have happened.
Yeah, shock the system.
And
So
you
meditation makes you less
able to
reactive.
adapt. It makes you less reactive, yeah. And so, that covers the whole spectrum of benefits.
Right.
You can make the argument that being adaptable is our most valuable asset.
Yes.
You can have all the time in the world, right? But if you can't adapt to change,
Yeah, you're dead.
you're having a really miserable time.
Yeah.
You're trying to control
You're going
everything
through it,
and
yeah.
everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like in relationships. The guys who are the most possessive are the ones that can adapt to change, and they're trying to cling to the past. They say that men don't want women to change, and women.
Well,
want men to
sometimes, I mean,
change.
in relationships, when guys are super controlling, then a lot of women like that because it forces them to then be adaptive.
Yeah.
And it gives them kind of a sense of self and grounding, but that's a completely different.
Well, yeah. Well, I think the base of what Light was saying is that we're forever changing.
Yeah, everything is changing.
Everything is forever changing. That is the base of the universe. You know what I'm saying? The universe is constantly growing, moving. It's infinite. We're forever changing. So if we encompass that ideal and are able to adapt with that, that's how the universe keeps going.
Yeah.
Because it's able to adapt. You know what I'm saying? That's why it keeps growing. It's infinite because it's able to adapt, able to move. And if we are the microcosm of that, and we embody that understanding, we have that ability.
But it's too sophisticated to try to figure out and be choosing it and all that. You don't have to be choosing anything. You just want things to flow. Just like picking up the water.
A flow, yeah.
It's like walking.
So
when something happens, it's like you can move around. It's like Bruce Lee said, you gotta
be
be
like
like
water.
water. You gotta be like water.
It's like water. If you see water flow down a stream and hit rocks and do, go through the jungle of what water does in
It takes
an
the path
ocean,
of least resistance.
it's adaptive. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what do
It's
you believe
adaptive.
about having an intention, or actually being like, hey, this is where I want to go and this is how I want it to be, and using meditation to actually manifest that thing? Is that something that you don't adhere to, or is it more establish a goal, let go of the outcome kind of a thing?
Well, I don't think it's a mutually exclusive thing. I think it's both. It's great to have intentions. What I tell people is, and this is in the book as well, is that if you want to do your intentions after the meditation, when you have that freshly meditated mind and that deeply rested body, and that gives you the ability to see things that you would not
Clearly,
have seen
yeah,
before.
a little
Because you
clearer.
may have thought that's what you needed over here,
Right.
but actually what you really want is over in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're so locked into this thing over here, this is what I need. Let me put this on my vision board. Right? You're going to miss all that good stuff that's happening over here. So
Yeah.
meditation gives you the ability to just, before
see it
you
all.
start dictating to God what you need, you just pull back a little bit and just see what's already there. And maybe something that's already there is better than what I thought that I needed previously.
Maybe
Well, it goes back. It goes back to, and I think that as Light speaks, I'm getting more understanding of the actual your availability. You're creating the availability in your brain.
You open up space.
You're opening up space in your.
You
in
can
your brain.
solve problems using
use
60% of your brain
exactly.
power so much more quickly than using 8% of your available brain power.
You're kind of calming it down back, and that's what, like, when Jordan used to play basketball, he used to say, "Slow the game down, so you can see it. So you can see everything more." Yeah. And that's what it is. You're slowing your brain. You know what I'm saying? You're slowing your processes down, so you know what I'm saying. Everything becomes clearer.
And Einstein is like, you can't solve a problem from the level of consciousness that created the problem. So if you got problems from your 2% consciousness, you can't solve them from 4% consciousness, right?
Yeah.
You maybe will get one mediocre solution. But if you're talking about 60, 80% consciousness, then those problems are not even problems anymore. They're all just opportunities.
Exactly.
So what is it about drinking that gets in the way of this? Because I noticed that there are people who, a lot of the gurus and stuff, they don't drink, they don't pollute
drinking
their bodies.
is a consciousness suppressant.
Right.
Okay.
So
drinking drugs.
Explain that for our viewers.
So that means that if consciousness is the currency for having all these quotes unquote superpowers, drinking is the thing that diminishes your ability. Currency. Yeah, it's like,
currency.
One of these days I just want to see a guru manifest a fucking Ferrari like in front of me and be like, "Ha ha!" Like Jesus made
that
water
exists. That exists.
How does that exist?
Go to places in India and you can
find
see
that.
Gurus who can do that kind of thing. Yeah.
Where?
But now those people who can bend laws of nature like that,
they won't do it to prove you.
They wouldn't be if they did that. To prove some special power, they wouldn't be considered to be a true guru.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to access
They're
that
a
level,
trickster.
So
They're a trickster guru.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that they can't do it. It just means they're not using it for those powers. Now, anyone who reaches that level of consciousness to be able to do something like that probably wouldn't do it to prove anything. Because they're not in that space anymore.
Right. Right. Exactly.
That's like a 2% brain power.
Funny thing is, long time ago, this whole the infomercial, The Secret, came out. The book, The Secret.
Yeah.
And I had seen that probably 2 years or 3 years before anybody even knew about it. I was, I'm a late night guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in the club business, and I was always up. And I seen this infomercial. And it was The Secret, and like 6-7 years later, people started talking about this secret and that, and I was like, I don't really know what that is. And my guy, a friend of mine, Mike, gave me the CD, and I was like, has everyone been talking about this thing right here? And I was like, and it was an infomercial. It was trying to
Esther Hicks?
It was trying to take this great understanding, you know what I'm saying, and commercialize it and trivialize it.
You can manifest.
You can manifest a BMW.
And like beautiful people.
If you really had that power, would you be concerned with a BMW?
Yeah.
Like, would you really be concerned with that?
Right.
I'd get a Beamer. I'd be like, why not?
You can get a Beamer now.
Wayne Dyer said it best. Think like God thinks. Think like God thinks. So what would God? He'd be like, no, if I want a fucking Beamer today, I'm gonna get one today. If I want a Ferrari, cool, awesome. Yeah. But I think that
does God drive? Have you ever seen God drive?
Well, you're both actually right. I think
of course.
You can have whatever you want, but you just shouldn't be attached to the outcome of it. Maybe you have it for a week or a day or whatever.
Yeah, maybe what I'm saying. Everyone needs their fix.
It's still all good.
That's interesting.
We are human, right?
Yeah.
Or are we?
But in the Vedas, they talk about how this whole idea that you need to start meditating to manifest things. Guess what? You never stop manifesting.
You never stop manifesting.
Your life right now is the manifestation of all of the thoughts you've been having up until right this second.
You're constantly manifesting.
And if you want to change your life, then you need to start doing something different. You need to expand that consciousness. It's not going to happen any other way. You can buy stuff. You can surround yourself with beautiful people. But if you're not able to be more adaptable, if you're not able to feel more connected, like not think about being connected, but feel more connected, you're not going to be able to feel fulfilled. You're not going to be able to feel content.
Let me see if I got this.
Which means that you're going to constantly wish something else was happening other than what you're currently experiencing in order for you to feel happy.
And that's most people walking around right now.
So let me get this straight, because that was probably the best illustration of that I've ever heard. So what you're saying is, what meditation is in grade school or whatever, the first time that you see a bench press, and they're like, cool, someday if you want to be an athlete, you want to be a professional football player, it starts here. So 5 minutes of this is to manifesting, getting a Ferrari or manifesting your life the way you want it, what a bench press was in middle school.
Correct. Or I would say a push-up.
A push-up.
A push-up, yeah, push-up. A push-up.
Like everybody can do a push-up. You don't need to have a gym membership to be able to exercise your pectoral muscles, but everybody can get down. You start on your knees. You do the girl push-ups.
The girl push-ups.
Yeah, and then you work your way up to lifting the knees up.
So you're saying this is
and then
girl,
you start doing diamond.
You're saying this is girl meditation?
I'm saying it's for everybody. Anybody can do
course.
that. Man, woman, old person, young person,
And
billionaire,
I think that's
homeless.
smart. I think that's very smart in terms of understanding where the world is at and how people are, and the chaos and the immediacy of people, and everyone. If you walk up to anybody and say, they'll do this for 5 minutes, most people be like, okay, well, I'll try it. If you walk up to somebody and say, I got this 30-minute thing I need you to do, most people will just say, peace,
and it doesn't matter how good it is.
How good it is.
If it feels like hard work, they're not going to do it.
So I'm glad you put it down to 5 minutes because everyone can relate to that.
You ready? You want to take the 30-day challenge with me?
Yeah.
Check this out. I'm doing a 30-day challenge on January 1st.
Well, I'm actually up to about 20 minutes of meditate, truth be told.
So theinnergym.com, you go to that, you sign up for the 30-day challenge. It's free. I'll be guiding everybody through it.
What is this?
It's the 30-day challenge for the Inner Gym. I'm taking people through every single page of the book over the month of January.
Okay.
New Year's resolution.
Okay.
And how's that being laid out? Is it online?
It's online.
It's online.
You go to theinnergym.com, you sign up, and then you're going to start receiving emails from me telling you exactly what you need to do every single day of the program and giving you video demonstrations and partnering you up with someone to hold you accountable. So we all get through it all 30 days.
How about, I can do that with you. No, I can do that with you. Yes.
Yeah,
we'll be partners. Yeah, we'll be partners 30 days.
And we get our happiness game up.
Yeah, get the happiness game on. Yeah, that's
all my shows preceding January are going to be like, I'm just going to be in here with
So this starts, the 30-day challenge starts January
1st.
January 1st.
Yeah, of course.
That's our New Year's resolution.
All right.
We're going to do it?
Yeah, we're going to do it.
All right, me and Jerod are going to do this 30-day challenge with Light Watkins.
All right.
The meditation 5. Okay, yeah, I'm down.
I'll come back in February. We'll talk about what
no,
happened.
that's the perfect time. Come back and we'll see how happy me and Jerod are. Okay, we got a few minutes left.
We do.
And we're about to I'm about to be turning to the interviewee. And these guys are about to turn into the interviewers on me.
That's right.
Because we have to talk about the Bravo show that has
called It's More Than Friends.
No,
correct?
It's called Friends to Lovers.
Friends to Lovers.
Friends, the number 2.
It was More Than Friends, right?
Don't worry about what it was.
What?
Right? See, right?
Friends to Lovers.
So it's called Friends to Lover. We did a sneak peek on the 15th, December 15th on Bravo. Was at 10. Went off very well. So people got, and you can download the sneak peek. You can go to Bravo TV or Friends to Lovers.com and download the sneak peek and check it out and see what Sydney Hall.
What is it about?
So basically, the premise of the show is the social experiment of everybody wanting to date their best friend. If it was, well, actually, no, not necessarily.
Just getting out of the friend zone.
Not necessarily if it was a male-female, because there
are certain people in this world that have a best friend who it's like, why aren't you guys together? And I've seen this throughout the course of my life. I've seen people. It's not always like you would date your best friend. It's just there are a certain group of people. Let's say maybe 10% of the population.
And a lot of guys pick female friends based on, well, maybe I can get with her one day.
That's what Pharrell said in this Angie Martinez interview. He was talking about how he married his bestie. That's what he felt like was the right thing to do.
Right, exactly. So this TV show takes a broad scope of that and shows you right in front of your face how that comes,
Now,
how it turns out.
Does it come out of like, okay, so you got a bunch of different couples. It's multiracial.
There's five groups of best friends, male and female. There's a gay couple on there, and we don't know each other. We're in our individual lives. So it's Jen Mosley.
One's filmed in L.A. One's filmed in New York.
There are three. I believe there's 2 couples in New York and 3 couples in L.A.
And none of those couples independently know each other.
No, we don't know each other. We're in our own relationships.
Well, you're real best friends. You're not.
Yes, Jennifer Mosley. Yeah, Jennifer Mosley. Yes, she was my real best friend, and that's
for how long?
I'd known her ever since I've been in Los Angeles. She's one of the first people I met in Los Angeles. So that was about 6.5 years ago.
And did it start off with as an attraction that you got friend zoned, or?
It started off. We met through a group of friends. Actually, a group of friends we went to school with, and you probably know them also. So it was just after a party. I explained the shows just after a party, the BET Awards, and I kind of ended up in the back of her car, and she was in the back of the car because we had a designated driver, and she was just she was just cold stove bitch to me. She's like, "Who the hell are you?" I'm like, "Well, who the hell are you?" And obviously she was married to Sugar Shane Mosley at that time.
Oh, she was.
And so, everybody around her was like, "Oh, it's Jen Mosley." And I was like, I can get two shits. That's just how I am.
Not one shit, two fucks.
I'm really concerned about myself rather than what everybody else is doing and who everybody else is.
So she's hot.
Yeah, she's a good-looking girl. She's a good-looking girl. And so we just became friends. It was totally platonic, just friends. We hang out, go out, party together.
It would be interesting to see throughout the show the reasons for everybody's reason for friend zoning, because at that time she couldn't do anything. She's with somebody else.
Well, yeah, she was married.
And
she
then
was married.
She was married at the time.
You guys grew together as friends.
Exactly.
But there are other people, because I've seen the preview, and there are other people on the show who were friend zoned for other reasons, and maybe they were at a level of their growth where the other person wasn't attracted to them.
Right, and that's the broad scope of the show. It's
Yeah.
it's not one particular type of friendship that you're in or people are in to where it could move to something else. It's it's different types of friendships in terms of where you are in that friendship, in that relationship, how you feel about that person.
And we're gonna have. Do we gotta have him on the show?
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
The show starts. The premiere of the show. This was the sneak peek on December 15th. That was the sneak peek. So it gave you a broad scope of what the show was about.
Has it been shot already? Have you guys
Yeah,
already
it's
been
been-
through it?
yeah, it's-
So you already know. You already know how it turns out.
Well, it's a very leading question. And actually, I don't know how to answer that. Right? I think I need
You're
some.
probably under contract
I
to
know.
not
I
say
need some
anything,
more
right?
media training. Yeah. Well, no. The show is ongoing.
Yeah.
Right. Let me answer it that way. Right. Wow. But it's real people, and real feelings are involved.
You got real feelings.
Real feelings
We
are
can
involved.
see you crying and
You got
Hey, yeah,
curl up in the fetal position.
Do we get to see you cry during the show?
You're gonna have to watch the show to find out if Sydney cries, right?
Okay.
Do you guys cry? Have you guys cried?
I cry all the time. I'm a crier.
You cry? Did you cry?
I don't cry all the time.
I've been a crier since I was little. Though.
Someone was
when I
asking
got
me the
when I
other
got
day,
mad. When
how
I got
often do I
mad,
cry?
if I got mad and it's about to go down,
Yeah, I used to
I'm
do that
crying.
shit.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about because of a relationship situation.
I've cried, yeah. I've cried in relationship situations. I've cried when I fought, too. The most embarrassing thing that you'll ever do is punching somebody in the face while you're bawling.
The girlfriend?
that was my.
No, I wasn't punching her in the face.
Hey, that was my inner strength. I was like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it's about to go down.
But
I'm crying.
it's funny because it's conditionally taught that men aren't supposed to cry. We cry just as much as women. Probably not just as much, but we do cry. Men,
I'll cry at sad
cry at
movies,
father-son stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The disabled kid hits the last shot.
Oh, that kills me every time.
Yeah.
That kills me. The news kills me. I was bawling last night over something.
See, I don't watch this. It's just negative. Such ugly.
Well, it's perspective. I'm like, I don't watch. I watch it for.
Watch more mayhem tonight at 11.
I watch it for the.
And by the way, we're gonna tell you about the baby that ran over the kitten and fucking. We're just gonna like.
Well, it's the context you put in everything. Everything exists in the world is in the context, the compartment you put it in.
The shell of the news, the surrounding, the way that they structure it, and the way that they do it is it's like. Drama.
I'm an information guy, so I like to have information. I like to know what's going on, current events. I'm like, because that gives me my power to.
I'd like to know more than what's going on than just the crime in fucking Los Angeles.
They got Google. You can Google a lot. I'm a Googler too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I'm a Googler. I used to read
news.
encyclopedias when I was little. So actually, when Google came out, I was like, "Wow, this is unbelievable!" Because I can just Google. So I used to literally read encyclopedias.
Well, Focus Magazine is a magazine I just found out about recently. They actually are a magazine dedicated to acts of kindness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so nice.
Cool.
I think they deserve a little.
Yeah,
here.
give them a little. So it's Focus Magazine.
Focus Magazine.
Focus Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dedicated to acts of kindness. Okay, well, we'll have to wrap up here. Like anything else, so we have the January 1st. We have the 30-day challenge going on.
30-day challenge.
Yeah.
Me and Jerod are going to Sydney Hall and Jerod Zavistoski are going to. We're really going to do this.
Yes, we're
you
really
have
gonna
the
do
books in your hand right now.
We have
no
the book.
excuse.
Well, I'll read the book within the next couple of days.
So these are the books you can get these at.
So I have an exclusive deal with Amazon.com.
Amazon.
You have to go on Amazon.com.
Okay.
And but you can get everything through theinnergym.com.
Okay.
You can see the trailer. You can see the book launch party. You can read the first 2 chapters.
So I wasn't
on
invited to the book
theinnergym.com.
launch.
No.
How much is the book?
The book is $10.
So this is $10.
$10 to enlightenment.
A free 30-day challenge that follows.
Yeah.
Which
$10 for happiness.
Exactly.
That's not bad at all.
I've paid a lot more for happiness.
Exactly.
or what I thought was happiness for the night.
The pain ain't cheap, as Kanye says.
Cool. And was there anything else that we?
Oh yes,
the
Bravo. January 12th it premieres on
January
Bravo.
12th.
Mondays at 10 p.m. Check it out.
Do we get invited to the premiere party?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the invitations to. No, of course you guys do. Of course you guys do. Of course you guys do.
I was about to cry.
We're gonna have we may have it. Me and Jen may have our own. Invite the cast at this the Exact Science Gallery on Melrose. We're looking at that space, beautiful space. Awesome. Shout out to them. And so it's exciting, and you're gonna see this little path and road I walk down to happiness or degradation, whichever comes. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know with relationships.
It'll be an exciting journey, and yeah, you know, it's funny because the closer you get to somebody, the more you learn about yourself. In the end. Well, guys,
and the closer people get to me, the more they learn about themselves.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on.
Yo,
course,
Light
man.
Watkins,
Really
thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Sydney and I went to Howard University, so shout out to Howard University.
Howard University, right?
Shout out
to Alpha
Fraternity Incorporated.
This is my line brother right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is actually my back.
Yeah.
This is actually the guy that held me up.
Yeah.
Literally held me up.
That's my
sometimes.
Front, so.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. I wish we would have had more time. Guys, as always,
but
you can find us.
we're back. Well, we're back in February with him after the 30-day challenge.
Okay,
so.
yes, that's correct. Okay. Guys, you can find us at methodologyofthemodernmale.com. We are on Twitter, Male Methodology, Facebook, Methodology of the Modern Male, the Modern Male Movement. Search any of our names, and you'll find us.
Yep.
And that's all for tonight, folks.
And keep the evolution going. All
Thanks
right.
for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
Peace.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski and Sydney Hall, right here on LA Talk Radio.